This is eCoffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Dave Carlson, the co-founder and president of Wildflower Cases, among many other entrepreneurial endeavors. I'm excited to get into that with you. Welcome to eCoffee with Experts.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate you having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. You have an amazing, long-stretching journey. I'd like to take it back to 1993 when you built your first website. I'm curious, what does 30 years, a 30-year view of the internet give you that most marketers today would completely miss?
Wow, that's a heavy question. There's a lot in between these 30 years that has happened. I mean, you talk about the fastest progress in technology. It's, 30 years is like 200 years in technology, probably longer actually. So, I had started a design marketing agency back in the day, 1990s, early 90s. So we needed a website. So yeah, I remember using HTML code, and then Flash technology was around back then. So I was, we were trying to use all the bells and whistles back then. But it's being on the internet and from a marketing standpoint, way, way back then, and understanding the tools that you would use back then. Now, fast forward to today, so much has changed, yet there still is a core base. Content is still king. Or the content on your website still is very important. It's not that. I would say that's the one thing that hasn't really changed. I feel like maybe the style of writing or the way you tag. Actually, alt tags were still around back then, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I feel like, that's kind of the main thing, is that content is king still today. But I don't know if that fully answers your question, but we can spend 2 hours on that alone,
Right. No, I knew I wanted to lob you a softball for the first question.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
It was kind of a loaded question.
That's good.
There's a lot to cover in 30 years. Before you launch Wildflower Cases, which is a globally known e-commerce brand for phone cases and more, you ran Wildflower as an agency. Wildflower Marketing, was that the name of the agency?
Okay, so I'll clear that up a little bit. So
yeah.
I actually, prior to Wildflower starting, I would say the official day where, as a family, my wife and my two daughters, when we decided that we are going to actually start a company, the official day was April 20, 2012.
Okay.
And that was in the evening after we happened to run I could tell you that story about Wildflower maybe in a moment. But to get to your question, I would say that prior to that moment, I actually had a marketing agency that wasn't Wildflower. And it was just enough. I was able to gain that kind of like that 20 plus years knowledge in marketing and online and offline too. And so when my wife had come up with the handmade phone cases, I thought, wow, I've got all this marketing knowledge and I can literally just apply it to this new product and company that my wife and kids want to start. So it definitely helped to be in the internet space from a design and marketing and branding standpoint for 20 years. And I was able to, overnight basically build the website and launch a brand. And so kind of timing, I don't know, the universe just kind of threw it all together and put it in my lap, but our lap as a family. And I said, well, turns out I have the knowledge to kind of get this going at least, and so that's what I did.
Yeah. I love that. Someone once said, if you want to learn how to run a business and you've never done it before, you should work for a marketer and learn how to market first. And, particularly in e-commerce, let alone business in general, a lot of e-commerce brands kind of they grow fast because there's a lot of tactics to grow e-commerce brands, but then they stall out. Maybe it's a lack of branding or, reputation. But what do you think Wildflower did differently that made it so successful and long lasting, actually?
To simplify, what we did was consistent content production. And so what that means is from day one, we were taking photos of products and lifestyle photos on Instagram, April 20, 2012. We did not and have not stopped since.
Wow.
So, I can understand other e-commerce founders and consumer product companies or whatever the product might be. I can understand the exhaustion from waking up and being like, okay, what are we going to shoot today to create more content and post or write an article or add to the blog or whatever it might be, film a video, a short clip video. I mean, it is just, I've said this to not only my wife and my daughters, the founders, but I've said it to the staff. I said, we're essentially a content production company that happens to make phone cases. And once we all kind of just understood that that's the model. So once you understand that that is today's model for success, then you just kind of rethink your whole e-commerce business model in general. If you're selling a product or service, obviously you got to sell the product and service. But in today's day and age, it's about that content consumption, that entertainment, that stickiness with the content. And so I would say that's probably one of the most important things we did was stay consistent. So you got to look, it's been 14 plus years now. So 14 years of creating content for social media, majority of social media is what we stuck to. And we did not waver. We did not give up. We did not, because we were tired, because didn't know what to shoot. We, lost creative. Like, what are we going to shoot this week? It's still a phone case. What are we going to shoot now? And so, we would go in the early days, we would use my iPhone. It was an iPhone 4. And I think we would do this with iPhone 4. Literally, the iPhone was our camera, quote, camera for photo shoots, all the way up until iPhone 8, maybe. And then the 10 came out. But I want to say that we were on a shoestring budget, as with any startup. And we didn't get funding and do what you see a lot of today is everyone, tries to get funding for their new idea. That's cool. That's one way to go. But we decided not to do that. And so from a content production standpoint, we were just like, I got my iPhone and the girls would find different locations. Like we live kind of near the mountains. And so there was areas where they'd have the phone case, they'd dress in, our phone cases are like fashion accessories targeting the younger female demographic, right? So they would find locations where they could put on a cute outfit that matches the phone case and go shoot something. Maybe there's a ranch, we're by mountains over here. And so we go out in the field. It was a really beautiful day and take photos. Or on the flip side, there's like some industrial buildings across the freeway, that direction. And there's big white wall, so it's like, oh, let's go shoot against that big white wall as a backdrop. And they would do photo shoots there as well. And then sometimes if we're out to dinner, they would just set the phone case on the table and put it next to a drink and maybe your hamburger. And it just all of a sudden it creates this piece of content. It's like, oh, boom, you're at dinner and you have your phone case and your cheeseburger and everything looks cute or whatever. I don't know. So it became just every day, every single day you look for an opportunity to create new content. So long answer, but the short answer is you have to commit to content creation today.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the way that you position the lifestyle behind the brand. And I think that's what makes it, it almost seems like you had that click. It's like, yes, it's a phone case, but like really it's the phone goes with you everywhere. So let's just document the lifestyle of where the phone goes. And like, therefore the brand is just inserted in there. With you also, obviously your family is now a bunch of entrepreneurs, your wife and your daughters. Tell me about some of the other projects that are going on, with the cookware line, or if there's any other projects going on. And how do you think, like, is there an overlap between the phone case and the cookware and anything else that you're working on, or like?
Yeah. So I'll start with Wildflower actually, because we do have some things going on there. Like I said, it's been almost 15 years now. And so some of the things we're adding to the product line will be like Samsung cases, for example. We've dropped those recently. And we're noticing we did launch in Asia. So we have a really amazing distributor in Asia. So it's kind of growing. So we're like, okay, we should probably expand into other mobile phone brands and then start making cases for that. So Samsung's growing. We're also working on other like fashion accessories for girls. So whether it's wristlets that you can attach to the phone case, God, what else? Charms, anything to kind of bling out the phone case, you could say.
Yeah.
We're working on that. And as from a content production standpoint, we're working on longer form content. We're looking at podcasts where Wildflower does become more of an entertainment company as well. We just had a big warehouse sale event and like 2,000 attendees. I think I want to say around 2,000 attendees showed up to a phone case brand's warehouse sale. I don't know. I feel like
Holy
that's
smokes.
a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's fun. So we're kind of trying to, like you said, we're kind of like thinking outside of just being a phone case brand. We want to be more than that, and we want to offer more than that outside of the phone case itself. And so, yeah, we're looking at things like that. We're looking into even kind of more distinct character-based charms. And I know like, what was it? The doll that got really popular.
Labubu.
Labubu, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's like maybe Wildflower drops a line of that. But so we're kind of exploring some really fun things that we think our customer will love. Okay, so that's kind of that. And then our co-founder Sydney Carlson had dropped a cookware line, I want to say a year ago, and it was kind of soft launch. It was a similar approach to the way we launched Wildflower, where we just kind of internally, we're just going to drop this line and we're going to slowly build the marketing organically and just kind of like, again, create content. We're going to find, so what Sydney did was she loves cooking. And so she thought, well, I would love to launch a cookware line like for girls that also love to look cute in the kitchen. So we're kind of following a similar, I don't know, brand trend, targeting girls that love to look cute with fashion and outfits and whatnot. So Sydney decided to do that with her cookware line. Within like the first 6 months, we've already done one collaboration with an apparel brand called For Love and Lemons. And that sold really well. It was like a line of a new pan and oven mitt, pot holder, aprons. There's like some cute outfits and stuff for the kitchen. And so that did really well. And it was like a legitimate collaboration. So we're 6 months into the company.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you tell the entrepreneurs out there that are starting new brands, it's like you open up your Instagram and you create the new account for a new brand and you got one follower, you know, and then your family follows. And, you know, so we didn't have many followers. So it was just kind of like a blessing to be like, when For Love and Lemons reached out, we're just like, wow, yes, this would be amazing, you know? So as a side note, I would also mention the power of collaborations. With any brand, any e-commerce. Like, I just feel like first of all, it's amazing because you get to tap into each other's reach, right? So everybody has a following, and if you can tap into each other's following, and that's amazing. That's kind of one part of it. The other part is the content creation, the collaborative content creation. When we did the For Love and Lemons collaboration with Lenny Cookware, we created amazing video. We created they actually put on this amazing event. We had a lot of like influencers that received the pan and loved it and created some cooking videos. So Lenny is something new that we started. Lenny is going and it's going great. And we'll continue to grow that. We're going to expand the line and whatnot. All right. So, and then on top of that, Wildflower also has Devin and Sydney Carlson actually I guess they've become quite the content creators themselves. And so when other brands started to reach out to them on their Instagram, we were realizing, wait a minute, like it turns out other brands want to work with them as well. So Devin and Sydney will get some opportunities that we manage, and it's super fun. It's just a little fun business that they get to pick and choose what brands they truly love and are happy to share on their social platforms. And it's been a lot of fun for them to support other brands as well. And so they kind of created another little side hustle, you could say, but it's quite legit. So
yeah.
I think that's it.
I don't think so, because I have more for you that I'll prompt you here in a second. But there's there's the collaboration piece that you brought up, the partnerships. I think it's easy, particularly in I almost said newer generations, younger generations is what I'm talking about, to feel like, yes, I'm so connected online, but I still feel relatively alone. And the barrier to entry to create any sort of like first or second layer of content or writing or promotional material or anything with AI, it's so accessible that they feel like, gosh, I could do a whole, like, I could create an entire website. I could do my whole campaign without reaching out to anybody. And it's like, that's a dangerous place to be, but just sticking your head out, actually engaging with other people, you could get opportunities to have partnerships with like Chanel or Ralph Lauren, which I believe is something that actually happened with you recently. So you have the influencer marketing aspect of that. And then there's also a talent management side of the business. And I want you to share a little bit about that because, again, going back to, it's so easy to create, it's so easy to have a one person business now. But at the same time, we have to ask the question, like, is that a good thing? I mean, what are your thoughts on the talent management side of the business?
Well, okay, so I mean, kind of hearing two things. So one is the talent management side of the business it's where we built a team, so it's not something that I could have done myself by any means. So we have a team that we've built out. One team member, Taj, is like amazing, and she's just helped really curate not only these amazing brands, but brands that align with both Devin and Sydney. And there's no AI involved there,
Nice.
you know.
Nice.
So that's kind of that side of the business. You know, brands do reach out. Brands love that there's these two young females that are entrepreneurs and they want to align with strong young female entrepreneurs a lot.
Hmm.
And I see it. I see the comments and stuff. It's really amazing to see, you know, girls will comment and be like, you're an inspiration, and you know what you've accomplished is something I want to do for myself. And so it's pretty cool to see that from my perspective, that, you know, that wasn't in the cards, that, you know, girls around the world would just be, you know, not only following Devin and Sydney, but also like looking up to them as role models. So
Yeah.
that's just like a bonus. I didn't expect that, and very thankful for that. But I do think that brands see that too, and want to align with that kind of energy. But with regard to AI, I mean, being an entrepreneur alone, I think I saw an article. It was AI related project slash company launched by one person with a valuation of like, I don't know, 500 million or something.
Yeah.
And it was like one guy or something. Maybe it was 100 million valuation, and it was one guy. And I don't know, that's a valid point. On one hand, yes, he's achieved a record milestone that hardly anyone I don't think has ever done in the history
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. So kudos to him. But I do believe that AI has its uses that
Hmm.
can increase efficiencies. I think overall that seems to be AI's just grand objective, is to get you from A to Z really fast,
Yeah.
and lower your ability to think for yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is kind of
100%.
it's kind of scary, because people tend to the brain just automatically wants to do what's the easiest. It's
Yes.
just how the brain's wired. Uh, so on one hand, you know, you're starting a business and you're like, well, I could do this myself. Myself and AI could
Hmm.
launch this company. And
Hmm.
that's fine. But who do you celebrate the wins with? What was that movie with Joaquin Phoenix? Who's
Yeah.
the Joker? And
Yes.
he was talking to his phone, and it was an AI girl. Was it called Her?
I
I
think it
think
was
the
called
movie was.
Her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie. Good movie.
Great movie, and it's AI. Essentially, it's AI, and he basically falls in love with this voice, and it's an AI
Hmm.
voice, and he celebrates everything with just her, really. And
Hmm.
so I don't know. I feel like it's kind of sad if entrepreneurs are going down this road. It is exciting. There's no question about it. But if you're by yourself, I don't know, you lose some of that. For us, it's been fun as a family to
Yeah.
build something meaningful and special together. But then we have over 50 staff members now, the most amazing team. We love all our team members, and they've been with us from 3 to 5 to 5 to 14 years. Like we've had our employees stay for a long time. So that says a lot about how we treat our employees. And that means a lot to us too. But at least together, we're all celebrating the growth and the wins and even the downside. Like, let's come together. How do we overcome this problem together,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's one aspect of AI you brought up that I feel like is pretty valid to at least be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's dangers all over. I mean, I listened to plenty of podcasts with the experts who are talking about not only the efficiencies and the good things that are coming out about it, but in the future, the push is really for regulation and safety measures and like honestly, how do we save humanity? But that's a whole different topic. We won't get into it right now.
Yeah.
What I'm more curious about is, internally, whether that be at Wildflower Cases, whether that be with, talent management or with influencer campaigns, how are you finding opportunities through like organic growth? Like, because most of our audience is SEOs, they're agency owners, they're providing a lot of the times organic search marketing for brands. And I think you have a lot of experience and could share some really cool perspectives on how are you thinking about organic search? How are you thinking about SEO in these days because of the advent of AI? What's happening with Wildflower Cases in terms of SEO?
Yeah, great question. And the timing, I think a lot of e-commerce companies and owners, like everyone's trying to identify the shift in SEO strategy and the challenge I'm seeing with that. Well, first of all, let me kind of back up. So Black Friday just happened. And I don't know about other e-com companies out there. I'd be curious to see in the comments below.
Yeah, nice.
I'd be curious to see if they experienced an odd drop in sessions from like Google Ads as an example.
Mm-hmm.
And even from like social platforms, like whether it's Instagram or whatever, referral traffic essentially from social media. So, because we did not huge, but enough to where it's like, whoa, what was that all about? So I've signed up for some AI search tools probably like 4 months ago, 3 months ago. And I've been following AI for the last, 2 years and just, over, what do you call it? I'm just like in that watching it from above, and I'll dive down and dig into a topic about AI when I have the time and just see if it relates to our business. And, maybe I should dig in and learn a little bit more. So I think from an SEO marketing standpoint today, one of the things that we noticed during Black Friday, that session drop, is that more consumers are searching ChatGPT now, and they're having discussions with ChatGPT about, sorry, my camera loves to follow me around. It's obsessed with me.
It's AI.
Yeah, it is AI. There's something in it. So, we noticed, because I have another tool that will track the traffic from ChatGPT, and we're like, whoa. And the dialogue from a search phrase is way different now. It's more conversational.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of one thing, is now that the consumer is having a discussion, a conversation with AI about, it could be one of many things, but one thing is about your brand, right? So it's going to say, for us, Wildflower Cases, it's going to say, hey, Wildflower Cases, a phone case company. I heard about them. I know they make cute phone cases for girls. What makes them better than, say, a competitor? And then AI will actually go out and search our website, and it'll comb through everything, every word, everything, which I'll get to. But I knew this was happening, and so then it'll comb through all your competitors that are similar, fashion phone cases, we'll call it. And then it goes back to the consumer who asked the question and gives them all these reasons. Here's why Wildflower Cases is phone cases for girls that love fashion and trends, but here's blah, 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 blah. So it kind of brings up everything. It's like the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
But then it'll go to your competitors and it'll be like, well, here's another option that you might like better, because and here's why. They have the same pattern. They're similar patterns, similar colors. Their overall brand is fashion forward. However, it's a $15 phone case. And so a consumer's like, I think it makes them go, wow, like it's like I'm talking to an advisor about what product I should buy before just going to what an influencer might have posted and said, oh, go buy this brand. Now ChatGPT is like, wait a minute, you want to talk to me first?
Yeah.
Because if you do, I'll tell you about the brand that you're interested in, but I'll also tell you about the competition.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you why you might like the competition better. And so anyways, that is something that we learned and learning. The caveat here with AI is every single day it's advancing.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, I'm going to do this strategy and I think we're good. We're going to be good for no. You do the strategy and then check back in 3 days.
Yeah.
And if you're like, oh, I'm not seeing more traffic, referral traffic. I'm not seeing more traffic from ChatGPT. Okay, well, guess what? Go ask ChatGPT, why aren't you seeing more traffic? And then change again, and then pivot, and then change again, and pivot. So we've done that consistently every week.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gives you a full outline of, I would say, not the full outline. Like I said, everything's changing, but it gives you a snapshot of, let's just say, during Black Friday. Like that's one scenario that I think consumers are doing now. And so back to what are we doing? And one of the things we've been doing goes back to content. So we've upped the amount of blog content times 10. It's like we have one writer. Yes, she's human, and she's seasoned writer for fashion beauty magazines like Vogue and Lucky Magazine and whatnot. So she's amazing. And so we're like, okay, cool. We're going to have you write 3 articles a month. And those articles will be like premium subscription level. Like those are great, relevant, really good articles to read within our space, fashion, beauty, fashion, young female, like what are her interests? Essentially our blog is pretty awesome. If our demographic finds it and reads it, everyone's like, wow, this is like a little hidden gem. With that comment, I go back to us being a content creation company that happens to make phone cases. So there you go. And then we have another writer who's not a seasoned writer, but she can write articles and make sure, how do I say this? Make sure that they are SEO friendly, I guess is what I could say. Make sure they are AI SEO friendly. There, that's better to say.
Nice.
And then those are probably more frequent. And then on top of that, we're writing content for collection pages. So if you have a product, like a collection page for your product, and you've got like 20 products on that page, we're writing articles that'll go on there. We're writing articles, the product description itself, things like, AI looks at your return policy. So AI will be like, if you want to buy a Wildflower case, here's their return policy. But this other brand, they let you return it later. I don't know. Like AI, if I'm we are an e-commerce brand, but if I was a new e-commerce startup, I would just say that AI, one of the things is it's going to scrape your entire website.
Yeah.
So every word you put on your site, you got to really think about it.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it from a marketing standpoint, from a consumer checking you out standpoint, just making sure you guys are legit. Or like I said, what's your return policy? What's your privacy policy? What is, what information are you going to collect when I go to your website? Like, I don't know. Like, it's
everything.
Anything and everything. You are totally exposed. And the consumer has a little buddy, an AI buddy that'll go check you out within seconds.
Yeah.
And then come back with a full 2-page report about your entire company and product. And then it'll even see what other customers are saying about you. So kind of like it, to be honest, because it makes you step up your game as a business owner. You're like, well, I can't cut corners anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Can't hide.
You can't hide. You can't hide anything. You got to be on your game, and you got to be transparent.
Yeah.
With everything. And I love it. I feel like, if you're going to start a business or a product or service, why not be transparent? Just let it
Of
all out.
course.
Put it
Yeah.
all out there. This is who you are. This is your product. This is everything about it. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. You're either going to love us or you're just going to go to a competitive product that's cheaper. And that's fine
Hmm.
too. That's why
Yeah.
it's a capital, what do you call it? Capital society or whatever.
Yeah.
So everyone has choices. But it is just AI has definitely, I would say, stepped up the game for everybody
Yeah.
for sure. From a
Yeah.
content standpoint.
Absolutely. And, there's there's so much to that. The proliferation of content if you're not doing that as an SEO, like I think you're automatically behind. Like if you're not publishing more content with the use of AI. Now, obviously there are plenty of AI checkers. So, because
Yeah.
Google released a spam update in August, at the end of August, I think in 2025. And there were some, AI content provisions in there. Everybody thought that Google was saying no more AI content, but it's not necessarily the case. Google is looking like every time that they scrape a site for the audience, every time Google scrapes a site, they are looking like it costs them money, basically. And so if they're scraping a site, like one page has 80% relatively duplicated content to another site that they've just scraped, then Google feels like we've kind of just wasted our money. Like we've just paid 2 times to get the same information. Therefore, what they're looking for is spam content, or AI content is just that duplication content. So if it can be unique enough and have enough of a human element to it, tell a story, share a personal experience, weave in, things about your location or your story or your something that's unique, then it's likely going to pass a spam check or an AI check. You mentioned a tool that you were using to check AI. Would you share what that tool is, or what those couple tools are that you've been using the last couple months? So there are plenty of newsletters. Do you guys actually have a newsletter as
Yes,
Wildflower
we do.
Cases? Yeah, of course you
Yeah.
do.
Our newsletter is, it's another piece of content. I mean, like I said, I sympathize for all of the new e-commerce companies that are launching, because the amount of content, I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah,
lot. But
yeah, of course.
that's, the positive side of that is you get to hire new talent. I know you think AI is going to do it all, but it just doesn't. It doesn't do it all. AI needs to be cross-checked all the time. So it does require, there is a human factor involved to get your content correct and in
Mhm,
line with your brand and whatnot. Okay,
mhm.
so real quick. So the newsletter I found that'll keep you updated is producthunt.com.
Uh-huh. Nice product hunt. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So I checked that out. They've got the most amazing tools, and they send it out every day. And there's some tools in there that are search related, SEO related. And there's some incredible tools that pretty much any of them, if you just start with one, you'll just already be ahead of the game,
yeah.
because it'll give you advantage of, all right, so here's what AI is searching for, and here's how I can update my website and or content. So,
Mhm,
but I would say as e-commerce founder, anyone starting, you definitely need someone not only to help build out the site, but also a structure that complements what AI searches.
mhm,
And then on top of that, creating the content for what AI might search on your website. And then
mm.
on top of that, creating the actual like imagery and photos. So as you can see, it's layer on top of layer on top of layer. You mentioned newsletter, that's another layer. Blog posts, that's a
Yeah,
layer. There's just, it's
yeah,
ongoing. And then as SEO experts know, backlinks are equally as important. So then you got to go on podcasts or,
yeah,
be a guest writer on other blog posts and just get those backlinks in, gosh, those are
yeah.
super important. So we've also focused on that. Just so you know, I know we talked about AI and SEO, but backlinks we're very fortunate with regard to Wildflower Cases because of not only our social media presence, but our co-founders, they get a lot of press. And
Mhm.
so, like you mentioned, the Ralph Lauren thing, like that got press in, I think it was in Vogue magazine. It was in,
Yeah,
multiple nylon magazine. And so in our space, that's a fashion related publication online and offline, but it will get us backlinks because the co-founders of Wildflower Cases is usually a phrase they'll use in almost every article. So then it points back to our site. So we get a backlink out of it, which is, the dream.
Incredible.
From a high domain ranking website.
Yeah.
To get backlinks from those sites is like, e-commerce, you dream about that. So it does happen from time to time.
Yeah. Imagine getting not only like some sort of a deal, like a partnership deal or a brand deal or whatever with these big brands, but then to get published in their, on their online publication, get a backlink from Vogue or Nylon, like, wow, incredible stuff. Yeah, I agree, because like, if we're thinking about kind of the 3 pillars of SEO, really the one that's the hardest to duplicate or the hardest for AI to take over is building relationships with other humans, which essentially is what backlinking is. Like, you have to reach out to the blogger, you have to reach out to the publisher, have some sort of ongoing relationship with them, and then convince them, if you've never met them before, to somehow pour some link juice over to your site. So it's like backlinks are becoming more important in the new era of SEO. It's almost like there's, the pendulum is swinging back, because you can't fake it. You can't fake high quality backlinks in niche sites. So, man, I know there's so much more that we could cover. I mean, you're obviously a prolific entrepreneur, and it's so cool to hear that you have, the family business, and I would love to be a fly on the wall at your dinner conversations. I'm sure they're a lot of fun, and probably not what normal Americans hear when they're talking with their family around Thanksgiving dinners. As the holidays come up, Dave, where can we find out more about you, your family, Wildflower Cases, and all things fashion and phones?
Yeah, I appreciate all that. It's one thing we've committed to as a family is to separate business and just personal family stuff. And so we do allocate time to talk about business. And then the rest is just us being just a family,
Nice.
So I've made a strong commitment and discipline to just make sure that it doesn't cross over. Because as any family business owner who's watching this can relate, when things aren't going great, it's easy at dinner to be like, hey, can we fix this? Or, let's talk about this problem in the business together, and people are, your family members might just be like, I need a break. Like, I don't want to talk about business. So that is something to be mindful of. Okay, so where to find me and us? I would just say, check out wildflowercases.com if you're in the market for a new phone case. And like I said, majority of our cases are for girls that just love shopping on trend. And we launch a new phone case. They're all limited edition, by the way. And we launch them. We try to launch a new design, I don't know, like once a week.
Wow.
And then we launch, we usually will collaborate with a content creator, artist, other brand. We'll do that usually once a month. And our last collaboration, actually this month, was with a model actress named Gabriette. So you'll see that on our website. Prior to that, we collaborated with a young girl named Ashton Earl, and her sister is Alex Earl. And so it's all within the Wildflower Network. Our co-founders pretty much are friends with all of our collaborators. So we talked about collaborations being important. I feel like that's always going to be part of our DNA. And I feel like in this world of connected individuals, I feel like why shouldn't everybody collaborate with everybody,
Yeah.
So every business should collaborate with another business or another person and offer them something unique and special that out of the collaboration you can offer your customers. I feel like that's the model, because AI will try to cannibalize that in a way that keep people involved in the business. And I feel like, and you can use AI to complement it. But anyways, wildflowercase.com. Linny, if you're looking for a pan, LYNNEE.com, Linny.com. And those are our 2 projects, businesses we got going on, all family run, female owned, and hope you check it out.
Cool. Yeah. I hope the audience does as well, and can learn a lot, not only by hearing what you have to say on the podcast, but also seeing it in practice on the website, on social media, following Devin and Sydney, yeah, it's just you have the experience all over the place. So thank you for coming on, Dave. I really appreciate you coming on as the guest.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun to chat. Like you said, we could have talked for another 2 hours probably.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Well, we'll see you next time.
Okay. You got it.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.